It's become one of those unassailable truths about manufacturing. Mexico is winning because of cheap labor. But what if that's not entirely true? Now, a recent Bloomberg article by David Welch and Dave Merrill presents some pretty compelling evidence that it's not low labor rates that makes Mexico hyper-competitive. Now, in the article, Welch and Merrill use the $25,000 mid-size car as a typical example. Overall, hourly compensation in auto assembly plants is approximately 30% lower for Mexican workers compared to the US. Now, for that mid-size car, this amounts to about $600 per vehicle. The article notes, however, that Mexican infrastructure is poor, adding $300 per car in additional shipping expenses for vehicles shipping to Europe and an extra $900 for US-bound vehicles. The net cost advantage per car works out at approximately $300. So what are those other factors? Well, Welch and Merrill note that automakers can save $1,500 per car using cheaper Mexican parts. Now, those are savings which come from lower Mexican wages, but also because many parts are imported into Mexico tariff-free from Europe and Asia. It's $4,300 per vehicle cheaper to build in Mexico and ship to Europe compared to US production, because Mexico has a trade deal with the European Union. Now, most of Mexico's auto exports still come to the US and Canada tariff-free under NAFTA, with Mexico sending some 2 million cars a year into the US. That's over half of Mexico's total auto production. But the article states that by 2018, 28% of Mexico's production will go to non-NAFTA countries, and that's up from 18% in 2015. The problem is exacerbated by major automakers' desire to switch to global vehicle platforms. One plant may be expected to produce vehicles for multiple markets, giving a distinct advantage to jurisdictions with multiple trade deals in place globally. There's lots of money on the table. In 2014, automakers avoided approximately $770 million in tariffs by building in Mexico rather than the US. Now, during his campaign, Donald Trump called for a 35% tariff on autos produced in Mexico. The paradox of Trump's Made in America strategy, however, is that to make it work for car makers, the US will need low or no tariff trade deals with major economies in Asia and Europe. Now that automakers are truly global producers, protectionism just doesn't make sense from a major manufacturer's standpoint. So how will he boost automaking jobs in the US? He'll have to tackle the tax and regulatory environment and do it fast before rapidly advancing automation makes the entire issue irrelevant. Repatriating $1 billion plant may only add a few dozen jobs in the future, and that's a low political rate of return in any congressional district.